Welcome to Scrunchy Time. I'm Nicole Hegstead, your fertility advocate. After 6 years of infertility and 3 miscarriages, I decided that I needed to become the advocate for my own body. If you're exhausted from struggling to get pregnant and want to know more about how I can help, check out my website at www.nicolehegstead.com.
And I'm Bridget May, your children's health expert. My son was born with a heart condition that led to 3 open heart surgeries, cath labs, a tracheostomy, and a ventilator. After being fed up with mixed opinions, I became my children's own advocate. If your child's health is lacking, then check out my website at www.bridgetmay.com to find out more how I can help. Put your hair up and pay attention while we discuss today's hottest topics concerning female hormones and healthy kiddos.
We aren't silky.
We aren't crunchy. We're scrunchy.
Hello and welcome back to Scrunchy Time. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking a lot about what's new with Bridget. She's changing some things up with her lifestyle and her name even. And there's a lot of new stuff going on with Bridget. So she's going to be sharing all of that, and I'm just going to let her take it away.
All right, thank you. So yes, first of all, I'll announce my name. So Nicole actually named me, so it's really, really exciting. I am now going by Be Wild. Just because it fits amazingly. Just in the process of rebranding and everything, she said it and it was just like, oh yeah, and never tried to think of anything else again. So as far as like switching things up and everything, I'm still obviously going to be talking about health and nutrition and like all the things because we have to have that. Can't steer away from that yet. So I'm still going to be doing all of that. But if you're following me on my new like Instagram page or Facebook at all yet, you'll see that I'm really focusing on like getting outside, living a quiet life, letting kids learn through play, all those kinds of things. And it's really important to me right now just because I believe like that's the stage of life I'm in. So it just kind of keeps coming up and I can't help myself to share it. I have to share it. So, which just makes sense because one thing impacts another, like if you could be eating the healthiest diet in the world, but if you're still stressed, you're not going to be healthy. You're not going to be happy. You're going to still have a lot of issues and complications. So it all goes hand in hand. It's an overall arching lifestyle. But so I'm really excited to start incorporating all of that into our Instagram and Facebook sharing with you guys. So the podcast will still remain children's health and all of that. But if you're following me personally, that's where it's going to change a little bit. So, and then I'm also really excited in this pursuit. I've been traveling for the last couple months. We've been doing an Airbnb life, which has been really fun. But our stay here at this last place is coming to an end, and I've been scrambling trying to find our next place to live and all of that, and nothing was working out. And so Nicole brought up to me, she's like, "What about van life?" And I was like, oh yeah. So I wanted to do van life. It's always Nicole. She's always got the good idea. We do it to each other all the time.
Yeah, we do.
But about a year ago, I really wanted to do van life, but there was just some stuff about it that was like super scary because I'm not mechanical and I didn't want our house and our car to all be packaged in one, and like all the things for me, just obviously being a single mom with 3 toddlers and a dog, there's just some things that weren't quite ideal with it for me. So it just never kind of panned out and worked out, which obviously been a blessing. But started like looking into it again. I was like, oh yeah. So started Googling, and I was like, well, what if I pulled a camper? And so we actually got our it's not really a camper, it's like a teardrop size puller trailer. So it's pretty basic. It has nothing but like an air conditioning and 2 power strips. That's it. It's like a box on wheels. So super excited about it. So I think I can handle that. So we actually are going down to go get it next week. So get to play with it and set it up and all of that. But what really just resonates with me and like starting this lifestyle and doing it is that this is the lifestyle I preach: is simpler life, getting back to basic, even minimalism to some extent. I'm not like huge everybody throw everything away, but like the less you have, the easier it is to keep track of. Trust me, I'm sick and tired of looking for my children's shoes every day. Like the less you have, the less space you have. You put stuff in its place and it stays there. And stress levels winding down. It's just going to be really, really good. So one of our goals this year is also to like be outside for 1,000 hours, and we have epically been failing. I heard about that challenge like the second week in January. It's like, oh, we can do this. We can figure it out. March rolled around, and I think we were at like 3 hours outside. It was really bad. But like this allows that to happen. So that's another reason I'm really happy we never went with like a camper or a van, is because we get up in the morning, you get dressed, and you have to go outside. Like we will not be staying in the camper very long, I'm sure, every morning. So it truly like pushes you outside. It pushes you to go outside. And like all the times we sit here and say, we need to get outside more, we need to get outside more. Well, doesn't matter what you're doing now. While you're cooking dinner, you're going to be outside. I'm so excited. Like I just have this vision in my head to just be like, we get up, we get dressed, go outside. The kids are running around playing while I'm cooking breakfast, instead of like running around screaming and bored and terrorizing something, because they're ready to get up and move, and they actually can now, So it's not going to be all peaches and cream. I'm sure there's going to be moments like they're 3 and 2 and 1, and there's going to be moments, but like they can just get up that bent up energy, like everything I've been saying and that we need to do and that we need to change. This is one way how to do it. I'm not saying everybody needs to go live in an RV or a van, but this is one way that I see is like for us is exactly where I feel we need to be headed and in the direction. And that's just super, super beneficial for us and the struggles that we have with healing and getting towards that clearer mindset and better health and all of that. So really excited about it. So I will be vlogging about that on my website as well, hopefully. I still have yet to start that up, but that is my goal, is to blog our journey and through video, and it'll be posted on my website and on YouTube. So, yeah.
Cool. I am so excited for you. I know, I don't know if our listeners know this, but I know we lived in a van for 10 months, my husband and I, and it was such a simple life, and I loved that. I loved so much about it, and we have really missed it in a lot of ways. God has just moved us to where we are now, where it's better for us to be here, but someday, fingers crossed, we definitely want to do it again as well. So I think there's an aspect of envy here of gets to go do that.
I know, I feel bad when I'm like, oh my gosh, we're doing this now, and she's like, oh, we still can't do that yet.
There's been a great benefit too of, I've been able to point you in directions, I think.
Yes.
Good questions.
It's so helpful.
I've even wondered, well, maybe we did the 10 months in the van just to help you get started correctly, so.
Right. Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm happy for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, no,
it's been super beneficial, because it is hard to be like, you're moving from, where we are now. So I moved, well, it's technically a 15-hour drive, but I made it 19 hours because of stops and stuff. But in my car, like I just threw whatever fit in my car is what we took, and believe me, that car was packed. But that's what we took, and we came here. So it's not like we have much anyway, but it still is like, I still had a house to like come and be like, spread out and be. So definitely helped with like, what do you really need and how to store it and saving space and all that. It's super helpful, and sometimes way more complicated than you think it is.
Well, and the other issue too is, in times past, there have been nomadic peoples, there have been tribes of people that move all the time. There was, I don't remember who said it, but someone was talking about a tribe of Native Americans that could be, their entire village could be packed in 15 minutes and they were on the move.
Wow.
And I mean, that is super impressive. And it's like, clearly they lived this way. Like, clearly, like,
Mm-hmm.
we do have this overabundant concept of stuff. And yeah, our
Yeah.
society is a little different. So we do need more things than, what they would have needed. Um, because their entire tribe would have been their society, their entire tribe would have been understanding of that lifestyle.
Right.
Like, I think the biggest issue with some of this stuff is sometimes the society that surrounds us is not accepting of it. Like, what do you mean you're going to live in your camper,
Right.
and so but it's goofy, it's foolishness, because it's like, I have a roof over my head, I'm feeding my children, we're warm, we're cool, whatever we need to be in the off season, and
Yep.
I'm doing something that I love, and that's all that matters, is that I'm
Yeah.
doing what I love for my life. So I think that
Yeah. Well, I see so much of it as for us is stability, even for us,
mm-hmm.
honestly, because we've had, so for those of you that don't know, I've recently gone through a divorce. We've been separated for almost 2 years now. It caused me to move and then move again. And then we moved, to do the Airbnb thing for a while. And it's all been good and healthy moves and for the right reasons, and always for the better. But it's still like, this isn't our home, and like, our lease was coming up on this place, and I was, talking to my 4-year-old, almost 4-year-old, about like, okay, well, we're gonna find a new place to live, and he could just tell it's like, okay, but I thought this was our house. And I just feel like, having your house with you, and also recognizing that home isn't your house. Home is your mom, home is your sister, home is where the people are that you love,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you need to find comfort and security in, and not this one specific location.
Or even in yourself, like, I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. Through the van life, I so identified with the fact that my husband was my home. Like, as long as he
Hmm.
and I were together, that was all that mattered. But there's also a level of self-confidence that I gained through that, of I am enough kind of concept. Like, I don't need a house, I don't need the nicest car. Like, yeah, I live in a van, doesn't matter, I'm me. I'm no different today than I was the day before I moved into the
Yeah.
van, or the day before I thought about moving into the van. And people start to act like you're a totally different person, and it's, no, I'm the same exact human being. And so, yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Like, and I actually did a whole video the day we moved here, out of the van. And that was really the only reason we build houses, is because we need a place to lay our head every night that's safe and secure.
Hmm.
That's where that
Yeah.
came from. And as long as we can find that place to lay our head every night, then we're safe and secure. But it's turned into, this is the place where we store our stuff, we watch our TV, we sit on the couch and do nothing. Like, it's turned into this thing of this, like, we work to feed the monster that we built so we could lay our head down every night. And it's like,
Right.
when did this house start to control my life? Like, people are having to work double full-time jobs, both partners, the
Yeah.
man and the wife, to support a household that is way too big, just so that you have a safe place to sleep at night. There's no point for any of that.
Yep.
So anyway, sorry, mini rant from me.
No, no, no. We're kind of on two different levels with it too, though, because like I'm have like children to think about,
Right.
and you're like, you've done it and have the adult point of view. So it's like awesome. Like we have this perfect balance of
Yeah.
like, I'm over here like, it's great for my kids, and you're like giving all the other reasons, like, yeah, the workforce and everything. Like, why do you have a house? Like, and then you go to work to pay for that mortgage, and like, so I actually was looking at buying a house. The area we're in, we love it, and um, it just was like horrible. It was almost a horrible experience. It was like 5 days of hell because like I got approved for this or that, but because I'm a single parent, they told me I needed to go get like a full-time job and this and that. Well, would have ended up me paying $400 a month in daycare to
Mhm.
go get this job to qualify for this much more on my loan. And I was like, it was just awful. And I'm like, so, then I'm giving up my kids, then I'm doing this, then I'm doing that. And no, that's not life. Like, I'm not working to put a roof over our head in that sense. Like, no, that's not where our stability lies. It's not in a house, you know?
Right.
And that's just, yeah, just ridiculous. So I'm not there anymore. And it was a very quick transition of like, okay, boom, 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 move on. So, but yeah, like, I mean, we hope someday. My goal in the end, I was thinking, like, I'm thinking like my plan tentatively, because obviously life has no plan over here apparently, but like tentatively my plan would be to like buy a piece of land and build a tiny house on it someday. But like to actually like go buy a house and get the mortgage and pay for it and have to go to work and leave my kids doesn't make sense to me. Like, that's not why I have kids.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. So I actually obviously been on YouTube with the tiny houses, and there was a single mom on there who built a tiny house with her 3 kids, and the video just literally made me cry because she had her kids help her, and so she was there guiding them and helping them with all the tools and everything. But in the video, one of the lines that she said was, every piece, every board, every nail, every screw in this house has a memory with it because we did this together. We built our life together. And I'm like, that's what a house is. That's what it's made of, is doing it together. And like, this is what we want. And just, I mean, I don't know, that's just a huge experience I would love for my kids to have, is like, we built this house.
You'll have that with the camper too, because we had that with the van. Like,
yeah,
we even had the last day, we were kind of at a time crunch because we had friends who were moving into the house that we owned, and they were moving in that day, and we were like, all right, well, we're living in the van, but there's still some things we need to finish up. So we were like still working in the garage and that kind of thing. And their kids came out and helped us hold stuff while we screwed, and it was amazing. It was an amazing community of just like this last day that was down at the final crunch, and all the kids were like, what can I do for you? Do you need more screws and stuff like that? And there really is like a community around that kind of stuff. And so, but yeah, you will have those kind of memories even in the camper of like, I designed this, I thought through every process. There's a reason for every item that's in here. And it's amazing. So.
Yeah, well, totally. And that's why I wanted the camper I got, because I didn't like, so many of them were like pre-made, and it was like walking into some fancy something that I wasn't even going to use half of it, honestly, because it was just like I didn't like the idea of cooking in a camper, because then you're again in the camper while your kids are outside, and me having little kids, that causes, conflict too, because that makes that difficult to like watch them and be inside. But I just didn't like them. Like, why can't we be outside together, So I did, like, I wanted that like clean slate. This is ours. This is what we want. Everything we have in here is what we want in here. So yeah,
yes,
totally see that happening too.
Yes, no, that's amazing. Yeah. So cool. Well, I am super excited for you, and I'm super excited to see where this goes. And so
thanks. Yeah. So if you want to, if you haven't switched to following me on Instagram, you can find me at the Be Wild Life. I'm Be Wild on Facebook, and then my new website is thebewildlife.com.
Yes. And we will be having a new intro and exit. So if you're watching the videos, you can, you'll see those links. You won't be able to click on them, but they'll be up on the video. So
yeah, and because the B is just the letter B, it's not BE, FYI. So, for those who cannot see that.
It's for short for Bridget.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see you back in a couple weeks. And again, thank you, Bridget, for sharing all this.
Yeah, thank you for letting me hijack this podcast.
Of course. Of course. It's fun. All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us on today's podcast.
If you'd like to know more about our programs or watch the podcast in video form, you can visit our websites,
where we also share links and resources concerning the different topics that we have discussed.
Check me out at www.nicolehegstead.com.
And check me out at www.bridgetmay.com. See you next time.